I think it was Tinker on her smartphone.
Oh, I think it was Jason. No, not your boss. It was Hi.
I just want to make a comment about whoever, if it's you or if it's Sue, that does the daily updates. We couldn't do without them.
That's why we're shooting down. And I wanted Sue to stand up because if it's a hard question, it's, let's see. Okay, maybe that's all the question. Oh, Marty.
Wow.
I don't mean to brag, but I'm smarter than people think I am.
Like what significant differences maybe that you've noticed between other pubs that are Hope Safe and Hope because of what she went through and the separation and all that? I mean, do you notice like a significant difference in their development?
I'll let Sue take some of that, but the main thing is that what a different cub when she's with Hope, I mean with Lily and on her own. When she's with Hope, I mean Lily, I always get that mixed up, but she's just a much more confident little cub. She doesn't have to spend her time ready to jump up trees and looking around for the danger. She acts like a yearling newly on its own when she's by herself. But when she gets with Lily, she just, she can eat and forage and feel like there's somebody looking out for her. And so that's why I think they're going to stay together. It'll be Hope's effort that makes that happen. Stay together, den together, and we've got a pretty darn good team. The leader of it, in a team of engineers, where's Jim Stroner? Can Jim Stroner stand up? Leading a team of engineers to try to overcome the problems of power and telephone if it's out in the woods where those things aren't available. And he is a managing engineer at Digi International out of Minneapolis. It's a worldwide company, and his usual job is problem solving, putting together teams of engineers to do stuff like this, often working with like Iowa State University, their engineering program there to give students problems to solve. This one proved to be too hard for the students, and he's got to work with the other engineers in his company, plus a couple people on the outside. One of them is Doug Hychek, that put together the international team for this last den cam. Another person he's working with is Bill Rice, who he's retired, but he built a worldwide company of wireless communication, and he's going to be you haven't talked to Bill yet, have you?
Today, hopefully.
Today is the meeting, and Bill has been Bill and Shirley have been wonderful supporters of the Bear Center, and so they're going to put their minds together. We're going to solve this problem. We're planning on having a den cam in Lily and Hope's den to see stuff that nobody has together. And we want to have another one, if possible, in June's den. Yes, we'll see what happens in Lily and Hope's den, where Lily, we figure, will give birth. There will be Hope, though, hibernating this time, not in there. Cubs don't hibernate. Their job is to eat and drink, drink and sleep and grow. So they got to have maximum metabolism so they can grow as rapidly as they can. But now this coming winter, Hope will be hibernating. So I'm sure that she will be snuggled up to Lily, just sleeping away. But we learned from the den cams that the bears are more active than anybody thinks. So we're going to see what kind of activity she has. Does she try to steal the milk from those little 2 or 3 cubs that'll be underneath Lily? See, Lily will be sleeping on her abdomen with her sparsely furred underside with the nipples and all kind of curled up with her nose tucked underneath her, as you've seen, breathing on the cubs, keeping them warm, with a whole bunch of bedding raked in there that will take up that air as she expels it, and then she can breathe some of that back, retaining the heat, minimizing water loss, and keeping the cubs warm. So they'll be under there nursing, and there won't be room under there for great big Hope. So by that time will probably weigh, I'm sure 50 pounds. And I wouldn't be surprised if she's, what would you guess now?
She's probably 35, 40 pounds.
Yeah. Because we think they're about the same size as Juliet's cubs, and that's what they weigh. We weighed one of them the other day, 44. And but I'm just jabbering on. There's a question right there.
Do you think Hope will have normal family breakup next year, Hope and Lily? And will Hope, do you think she'll experience it a little easier than other cubs might because she's had a little independence of her own?
Yeah.
You know, the normal time of year that they would break up, will she break up with them and then Lily will stay with her?
My comment was, what is normal? Because we've seen so many varieties of family breakup.
Will she have family breakup? Will Lily give her family breakup when she has new cubs too? Will Lily send her off?
So here's the thing. We're all learning together. We've never seen this before.
Good answer.
Maybe Hope could stay with her maybe another summer.
Yeah, that's what we're wondering. That's what we're thinking is a very strong possibility. This little cub might get an extra year of protection to make up for the 6 weeks that she was on her own.
Do you think there's any chance that she could still have just one cub again, or is that rare?
One cub is rare enough that I suspect her next litter will be 2 or 3.
Could it happen though, just one again? Or
Could happen. Here's the thing. When you ask, could something happen? Actually, any question you ask us, the answer is maybe, maybe not. Because the percentages vary with the question. Because everything that we see, it used to be, well, before I started studying bears, I knew all about them. I grew up reading the hunting magazines, I went to the museums, I saw the snarling taxidermy, I went to national parks, I got the warnings that were written by attorneys worried about liability problems, and I thought, whoa, bears are bad news, I know all about bears. Then I started studying them, and just like with you guys, it didn't match up to everything I had ever heard. And then I knew everything about bears because my sample size was small enough. I could answer any question by the one sample size that I saw. Then as 44 years went by, variability set in. Everything starts to fall under a bell-shaped curve. You get the oddballs out in the tails, and it's harder and harder to answer any question. So, and now we're into stuff that we never saw before, and we're all learning together. Jim. I always do that. See, that's Jackie next to her.
If Lily doesn't let Hope den with her, will Hope know enough to make a den herself?
Yep. We have put radio collars on quite a few, maybe a dozen orphans over the years, and they made perfectly good dens, even though the mother would normally make it for them. I don't know. Yes, ma'am.
Is the
who the old guy was.
See, one of the problems with bears, I don't know if there's gonna be any bears in heaven. 'Cause I don't know how many of the 10 Commandments they break. So I don't know who the Father is. We've thought about doing DNA, but see, here's the problem. Over the years, I mean, I actually pioneered some of the old methods that I wouldn't do anymore. And we've just graduated always to kinder and gentler and more revealing each time it turns out to be kinds of research. And the DNA stuff we probably could do is very expensive. And but anyway, we don't know who the Father is. Yes, ma'am.
How is boy named Sue?
The boy named Sue is terrific. Yeah, saw him yesterday. Yeah, doing fine. Yeah.
I know you can answer that one. Are you still doing the BBC thing?
BBC is here from March to October. They're doing 3 documentaries. And they're going to air January and February, at least in the UK. There's no American place scheduled for them to air yet. But I can tell you, I always hate to put out information out that's not signed, sealed.